Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rebbe Eliezer Melamed, Shlita. Here we are on our Thursday, continuing our Torah study. Please continue davening for Chayalei Tzvagana Yisrael, Refuah Shalem Al Chalam Yisrael, safe return of all of our hostages, and reminder that our learning is dedicated to Ilu Nishmas, Seren Daniel Shimon Ben Harav Daron Visheli Hashem Yakum Damo. The next chapter, Hamitzvah Shafet Bebesin Al Pi HaTorah. Tzivas HaTorah, the Torah commands us in Parshas Mishpatim, Ve'ela HaMishpatim Asher Tosim Lifneihem. Upirshu Chazal, Lifneihem Hainu Dafka Lifnei Dayan Yisrael. When it says you should present these laws in front of them, who is them? So the Gemara in Gittin says this is in front of Jewish judges, V'lo Lifnei Dinei Goyim, and not in front Dayanei Goyim, not in front of non-Jewish judges. Va'afilu b'mikreh ba'oso inyan Dayanei HaGoyim Poskim KaTorah, and even if in a certain matter that the non-Jewish judges will follow Torah law or paskin or conclude the same way, nevertheless one is forbidden from going in front of these judges, because the pasuk in Devarim says the justice goes for the judges, which are Jewish judges, because the Dayanim have what we call smicha, real smicha, where they have tradition passed down generation to generation, teacher to teacher, all the way from Moshe Rabbeinu. And when they decide law, it's coming straight from the godly word. Already almost 300 years after the destruction of the second Beis HaMikdash, Paska HaSmicha b'Yisrael. So this chain of tradition was broken. She'ein somchen ela b'Eretz Yisrael. We only have smicha in Eretz Yisrael. And the standing of these judges has changed. Until then, the sages of Israel, who had smicha, they had the power, they had the strength, the personal strength to judge. And after the smicha was broken, that chain of tradition was broken, then the sages do not have these personal smicha. But nevertheless, you still have to go and present your cases in front of them. Because they are considered messengers, emissaries of the judges of past who had smicha. And as a result of this shlichus, they're being emissaries, so they're able to paskin halacha, they can decide halacha in all those commonplace dinim and all those commonplace cases that if they don't adjudicate accordingly, then it could cause damage. But we have to tell the truth. Here's a very powerful statement from Rav Melamed that the courts in Israel, not talking about a Beis Din, but the courts in Israel, even though they're Jews, but we consider them as, well, the term that we use when we talk about non-Jewish court or non-Beis Din is arkos. So he says the courts in Israel are considered arkos of non-Jews, meaning because their judgment is based on civil law, not based on Torah law. Kol hadon b'dainei nachrim barko shelhem afa pi shahay dinem gedin Yisrael harei Russia oki'ilu charav v'garav v'hayrim yad b'Toras Moshe Rabbeinu. The Rambam says in the Laws of Sanhedrin, in the 26th chapter, anybody who goes to arkos, to non-Jewish judges or non-Jewish courts, even if they paskin, if they adjudicate according to the laws of Israel, nevertheless, very strong words from the Rambam. This is a Russia, a wicked person. It's as if you have blasphemed and raised your hand against the Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu. And even though we've been talking about following the law of the land, certainly the government or the ruler is able to establish laws and to enact enactments. And even the rabbinic courts, when people come to paskin halacha, they have to also acknowledge that the laws of the land are binding. In any event, it's clear that no ruler, no government, especially in Israel, has the ability to take away this mitzvah and this obligation that we have to go to Jewish courts. Therefore, if anyone has disagreement, anyone has an issue, they should first go to Jewish court to Beis Din. What happens if you take someone to court, you take someone to Beis Din, and they refuse to appear in front of a kosher court? And the person that you're claiming against only wants to go to a secular court. Nevertheless, the prohibition still remains. Until the person can go in front of a Beis Din or in front of a rabbi who understands how to adjudicate monetary matters. And only once they get permission from the Beis Din or the Rav to go to the secular court to be able to collect the funds. And only after they receive that permission can they go to Arkos, to the non-Beis Din setting. Why? Because in this instance, when you have permission, you're not violating the mitzvah to go in front of Jewish judges, because you have gone with the permission of the Jewish judges. Needless to say, this is a very complicated matter. In Israel, perhaps, I don't know if it's easier or harder. Certainly in America, when people want to go to Beis Din, it always becomes very complicated, especially with civil monetary matters. Often people insist on settling these things in front of a panel of rabbis or in front of a Beis Din, and we have to follow the halacha accordingly. But we continue our learning and exposing so much about the laws of the land and our obligations as citizens. Please continue davening for Chalei Tzvagan Yisrael, Chola Yisrael, safe return of our hostages, and do an extra mitzvah. Nishmat, Sarah, and Daniel, Shimon, Ben Daron, Risheli, Hashem Yikum Damo. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.